Are you thinking of making a move to Calgary, but you're not quite sure where you want to live? Are you curious what some of the better neighborhoods in the city are? If you're asking yourself these questions, you're going to want to stick around. My name is Ryan Gillard with Real Broker, your Calgary Realtor, and in this video, I will give you a neighborhood tour and rundown of the Edgemont neighborhood, one of the best neighborhoods in Northwest Calgary. Let's get right into it. All right, let's get into the Edgemont walkthrough here. And if you are a buyer or a seller thinking of making a move in Calgary, please reach out to me. All my information can be found in the written description. You can call, text, email, comment. You can even check out my website. I want to be the one to help you out, so feel free to get in contact with me. And so let's get into it here. So Edgemont is one of my favorite neighborhoods, not just in the Northwest, in the entire city. It would probably make a lot of top 10 lists. Definitely within the Northwest, it's one of the better neighborhoods. And so what makes it unique, so I pull up the map here, is that we'll get right into the geography of Edgemont, because I think that's what makes it such a nice area. So if we pull up the Calgary map, so first of all, where is Edgemont? So this is Calgary right here. Edgemont is located in the northwest portion of the city, and it's a massive neighborhood. It's one of the bigger ones. I'd say behind Tuscany, it's probably the biggest neighborhood in the city, either that or Tuscany. And so the boundaries are, so on the south boundary is John Laurie Boulevard to Sarcee Trail to Country Hills Boulevard and to Shaganappy Trail. This doesn't look like a big area, but Calgary is very spread out, and this neighborhood is quite large. And what makes it unique is it's right next to Nose Hill Park. So if I zoom out again, this park is enormous. I'm just estimating it's probably like 5 kilometers by 5 kilometers, like 25 square kilometers. It's huge. If you were to walk from one end to the other, it might take you like an hour, if not longer. And Edgemont has easy access to that park. And if you are unfamiliar with Calgary, Nose Hill Park is probably the highest feature in the Northwest. It's definitely up there. Maybe there's a hill on the west side that might be equivalent, but definitely a very high feature or high point in the city. And so in Edgemont, you've got excellent views of the mountains and parts of downtown, depending on where you're at. And you can see all the green stuff here in Edgemont. Actually, I'll pull up the satellite view so you can see it a bit better. So again, here's Nose Hill Park. Edgemont is just over here. All this, my screen's just loading. This program takes forever. So you can see all this green path, all the green paths over here. It comes up the neighborhood, and there's a valley over here. So there's walking paths and trails all throughout this neighborhood. And then there's a big ravine over here. And lots of these homes are backing onto the ravine, and they've got excellent views. So Edgemont is a great place for outdoor lovers. This is like you can take your dogs, you can jog along this trail. There's tennis courts throughout here, and you've got also easy access to Nose Hill Park, which is just over here. So it's got very good geography. And so let's talk about this part of the Northwest as well. So again, if you're unfamiliar with Calgary, the Northwest is probably the easiest, not probably, it is the easiest part of the city to drive in. So I'll pull up the map here. Whereas in South Calgary, you just have like the Deerfoot Trail, and you have like McLeod Trail, which is always backed up. It's like a red light every block. In the Northwest, you have so many roads to make it a lot easier. So you have Crowchild Trail right here, which you can do 80 kilometers an hour, and it's only really backed up around this part of Crowchild Trail. The rest of this is smooth sailing all the way out of the city limits. So you've got Crowchild Trail, you've got Nose Hill Drive right here, you've got Sarcee Trail right here, you've got 53rd Street, Shaganappy. John Laurie is a busy kind of east-west connector road, which you can take all the way to McKnight and then exit the city on the east side. And you've got the Ring Road over here. All of these roads are easy access to Edgemont. So if there's like a traffic jam on one of these roads, you can easily just find a different road. And it's really easy to get around the northwest part of Calgary. And Edgemont is right in the middle of everything. So there's no issues with the driving situation in Edgemont. The one thing that I will say that I don't like about the northwest part of Calgary is if you don't have winter tires, this part of Calgary is very hilly. And it's happened to me where my winter tires were a bit bald and I didn't realize it. And you could be sliding down some of these hills. So you got to be careful in the winter time because it is a very hilly part of the city. But that's minor. And what else do we have here? So we also have good C-train options in the Edgemont area. Not directly in the neighborhood, but not a far commute. is along Crowchild Trail, there's the Dalhousie Station, which is right somewhere around here. 1 second. Well, you get the idea. There's a Dalhousie C train station somewhere over here, and there's also a Brentwood station around the mall over here. And this station will go all the way from Tuscany, all the way to downtown. And then you can connect to different lines. You can go to the west side, you can go to South Calgary, and then to northeast as well. So you got easy access to the C train stop from Edgemont. Let's talk about some of the schooling options now. I get a lot of people comment on some of my videos, and they're always asking, where are the best schools in Calgary? Well, there are 3 options in Edgemont, and I'd say they're all excellent schools. So you can put a star beside this neighborhood if you're looking for good schooling options. So the first one is Tom Baines Junior High School, which is just right over here. So let's zoom out a bit. So you have Tom Baines Junior High School over here. You've got Edgemont Elementary School. So right over here, this section right over here, just off Edgemont Boulevard, there's the Community Association, and there's also Edgemont School in the same area. And then you've got Mother Mary Green School, which is right over here off Edenwold Drive. And all 3 of these schools are very good. They're always rated fairly highly. And so if you are someone looking for good schooling options, I would definitely put a star beside the Edgemont neighborhood. Next up, let's talk about some of the shopping options. No shortage of shopping in Edgemont. So if you pull up the map here, actually I'll pull up the satellite map. You can see it probably a bit better. At the northwest corner of Edgemont, there's this big shopping complex over here. I'm just going to zoom in for you. So you can see in the video in the background, there's a superstore over here. So a superstore is like one of the big chain grocery stores in Canada. And there's a bunch of strip malls over here. There's like a Dairy Queen, there's some banks, and the regular stuff that you'll see in strip malls. And from there, and there's also multiple strip malls, like the smaller ones, like the neighborhood strip malls throughout the neighborhood. And so for other shopping options, if we take Sarcee Trail, which again is the west boundary of Edgemont, and we drive, say, like 5 minutes, we'll get to this yellowish section over here. This is another massive mall. It has all like your big box chain stores, and basically everything that you want can be found in this mall. The one thing I don't like about it is that if you come here at the wrong time of day, it can take you forever to get out of here. It's not designed all that well. I was going to this Costco a while back, I think it was around Christmas time, and I swear it took me an hour just to get out of this parking lot. So it's not designed all that well to get in and out of, but it does have all the options. And the last mall that I'll talk about here is the Crowfoot Crossing Mall. So if we take John Laurie Boulevard, which is at the south boundary of Edgemont, straight west, we'll come to Crowfoot Crossing. Again, I find this mall is also not designed all that well, where it's kind of these circulars that spread out from each other, and I find it a bit confusing. But again, this mall is massive and has everything you could possibly think of. So there's no shortage of shopping options if you're living in the Edgemont area. And there's also other big malls along the C train route as well. So you got everything around the Edgemont neighborhood in terms of shopping. Okay, next up I'll talk about some of the housing options in Edgemont. And the neighborhood is so big that it took about 20 years, give or take, to actually complete the entire neighborhood. So at one point, Edgemont was the outer limits of Calgary. You can see that it's spread out since then. But in the late 70s, they started to develop this first phase over here, which I'm circling. This is called Edgemont Estates, a very nice pocket of Edgemont. And typically in Calgary, the Estates area, it usually is the best part of any neighborhood. Definitely up there, but I think there are some more expensive parts of Edgemont compared to this Estates area. So this is Edgemont Estates. This part over here is Edgedale. So again, sorry, this was developed late 70s for Edgemont Estates, and then the same thing for Edgedale. But Edgedale is more of like the average price ranges at the time. So again, higher end, a bit average. The Edenwold, this section over here, I would say it's probably the most expensive part of Edgemont. You can't really see it from this map, but this is a big cliff right here. And these parts that are jutting out, these homes right here have like, I can't speak, they have great views of the downtown from this little point over here. And so this pocket over here is also ultra expensive. Basically anything in Edgemont that's backing onto like a ravine or like a green path is usually pretty pricey. And the Edenwold area, I would say this is developed like maybe the mid 80s to the early 90s, I would say. Next up, we have Edge Valley, which is this section right over here. So this is better if I pull up the satellite view, if I can find it here. So I'm just going to zoom out here real quick. Again, this program takes forever to load. So you can see this green section right here. And this is all Edge Valley. So some of these homes that are backing onto this ridge have excellent views. And this road right here, was it Edge Valley Landing, I believe? This is one of the nicer streets in all of Calgary. There are some really fancy homes on here. And again, they're backing onto the ravine. Excellent spot in the neighborhood. So this Edge Valley area, this is kind of built in like the mid-90s to early 2000s. And so across the ravine, we have Edge Ridge, which is this pocket right over here. Not a very big pocket, but also very high end. Maybe not quite as expensive as Edge Valley or the Edenwold area, but some of the homes that are backing on this ridge are pretty pricey as well. And then we have Edge Brook, which is kind of this section over here. And Edge Brook, I would say, is more of your typical price ranges for the Edgemont area. Not super high end, but definitely still very nice. And then lastly, you have the Edge Park area, which is kind of over here. And again, this is more of like your typical price ranges for the neighborhood. So it's one of those neighborhoods that you need to know all the different micro regions. It's such a big neighborhood. And next up, I'll talk about some of the market stats in Edgemont. And I'm just going to cover it real briefly. That's a big document that I have here, but I'll just kind of summarize. So the total residential price in Edgemont is $698,300. This area is mostly detached homes. I'd say maybe 90% of it's detached, and there's the odd condo here and there, especially like in the northeast pocket of Edgemont. And there's a few like a townhouse style homes in the estates area. But for the most part, it's all detached homes. So the average price of a detached home is $805,000. So in the city, the average price in Calgary for a detached home is about $650 last I checked. So we're definitely above the average in Edgemont. And again, the area is so big, there are lots of different micro pockets that in a lot of areas of it, $800,000 won't buy you anything. But in other parts, it does get you quite a bit. For semi-detached homes, the average is $429,000. Not too many of these in the neighborhood, but so that is the average. You can see the prices up 11.6%, 13.2%. So the prices are on the move in Edgemont. Similar for townhouses, $466,000, not too many of those. And there's just a small little pocket of condos in Edgemont, and they're priced fairly reasonably. They're a bit old now, and they are on average going for $226,200. Not much for inventory, 1.24 months. And again, what that means, if nobody could list a property, it would only take 1.24 months to sell the remaining inventory. So a pretty tight market. And last thing I'll show you, I'll skip right to the bottom here. The benchmark is kind of like the most common property that you see based on different metrics. It's hard to explain, but the benchmark properties in Edgemont for a detached home, I'll just cover detached here because the neighborhood is mostly detached homes. So for a one-story, like a bungalow, your typical benchmark home in Edgemont is 1,487 square feet, 3 bedrooms built in 1983, 1 bathroom downstairs, 3 full bathrooms, about $655,800 is the benchmark price. And I'll skip over to 2-story homes. So on average, they're about 2,112 square feet, 3 bedrooms built in 1987, 1 bedroom downstairs, 3 full bathrooms, 1 half bathroom, and totally finished basements. So they have finished basements on average here. And your typical 2-story is going for $836,100 in Edgemont. Next up, I'll take you through a few properties just to give you a sense of the layouts and the price ranges, and then we'll go from there. Hey, it's Ryan Gillard here with Real Broker, your Calgary realtor, and in this video, I'll tour you through a brand new 3,300 square foot home listed for $2.1 million in the very popular northwest community of Edgemont. Let's have a look. So this first home that I'll take you through is in the Edgemont Estates area. It is a brand new home, about 3,300 square feet, $2.1 million. Taxes are about $6,000 per year. There are 3 beds and 3 full baths, 2 half baths, a finished basement. And it's a very nice home. It's huge. Just 2.1 million. You don't see too many homes selling for that high of a price in Edgemont. I think the highest I've seen is like 1.5 million. So it is a big ask, but it is a nice home. But it might be a bit high for the area, but still it gives you a sense of what like a luxury option looks like in this neighborhood. And this next home is a good example of a renovation project in Edgemont. So this home was originally built in 1978 and it has been fully renovated, and the list price is now 1.029 million. And this home is 1,907 square feet. It's a 2-story, 3 beds upstairs, 3.5 bathrooms, a fully finished basement, double garage attached, and has been fully renovated. So again, this is a good example of a renovation project in Edgemont. All right, next up on the tour is this 2-story home listed for $720, and it's about 1,800 square feet. And this one is a bit of a renovation project, and I think it's probably priced a little bit high, but it gives you a sense of different price points and the layouts and whatnot. So let's have a look. Next up is this home in the Edgedale area, listed for $718,800. 4 bedrooms upstairs, so there's 3 on the top level and there is 1 on the main level, like an office. So 4 bedrooms, 1,864 square feet, 3 full baths, 1 half bath. Looks like you can suite out the basement, has a double attached garage. I think this property might be a bit high in price, simply because it's still in the market after 20 days. Our market is red hot, so if they're not selling immediately, it's generally because of the price. But all in all, it's a decent home. It just, I think it's a bit high in price. And next up is this entry-level home in the northwest pocket of Edgemont. This is about 1,056 square feet, a 2-story with 2 bedrooms, listed for $475,000. Let's have a look. So this home is located in the northwest pocket of Edgemont, and it's just a little area, and it has a bunch of entry-level homes, and there are some villas as well. This one is listed for $475,000. Again, I think this one might be a bit overpriced as well. At 32 days on the market is a long time in this market. 1,066 square feet, 3 beds, 1.5 bathrooms, and it does need a bunch of work, so I think it might be a little bit high still in price. And next up on our list is this very typical home that you'll see in Edgemont. So it's a 2,300 square foot 2-story, built in the mid-90s, 3 bedrooms upstairs, front garage with an unfinished basement. And again, it's $800,000, it's a very typical price point in Edgemont. Let's have a look. And this next home here is in the Edgebrook region, which is on the eastern side of Edgemont. And it's kind of like the typical price point for the neighborhood. Detached homes are kind of like $800 to $850 on average in Edgemont. This one is listed for $808,800. 2,374 square feet, 3 beds, 2.5 baths, unfinished basement, double attached garage, and a nice home, and just a good example of a very typical home in the Edgemont area. Well, that's my rundown of the Edgemont area, one of my favorite neighborhoods in the entire city. And again, if you are looking to buy or sell within Calgary, I want to be the one to help you out. So feel free to reach out. All of my information can be found in the written description below. Again, you can call, text, email, comment, and even check out my website. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.